Have you ever wondered what secrets loneliness hides in this fast-paced life? Living alone may seem scary at first, but what if I told you that solitude can be your best spiritual teacher? In this video, we explore 10 Buddhist teachings that will transform your perspective on the art of living in solitude. You will learn to make silence your ally, to find peace in stillness. You will discover that the best companion is yourself. 1. Growth through adaptation. Resilience in solitude. Adapting. Adapting to living alone is like embarking on an adventure where every challenge is an opportunity to discover our inner strength. At first, it can feel overwhelming. Silence, responsibility, and uncertainty may seem gigantic, but it is precisely these challenges that shape us, that teach us to be stronger, more flexible, and more aware of our ability to overcome obstacles. Every difficulty we face is like a muscle we exercise. The harder we try, the more we grow. Accepting that life is constantly changing allows us to find a unique peace, a peace that does not depend on external circumstances, but on our ability to flow with the rhythm of life. Like a tree bending in the wind, we learn to stand firm without losing our flexibility. Adaptability is the key. It is not about resisting change, but embracing it, finding happiness even in the midst of uncertainty. Every new skill we acquire, every hobby we explore, is a reminder that we are capable of growing, of reinventing ourselves, and finding joy in the unknown. But independence doesn't mean doing everything alone. It's knowing when to ask for help, when to connect with others, and when to lean on our community. Staying connected with friends, family, or even professionals reminds us that even though we live alone, we are part of something bigger. Taking care of ourselves is essential. Nourishing our body, mind, and soul is like watering a plant. It allows us to flourish even in the most difficult conditions. Reflecting on our desires, goals, and aspirations helps us grow not only in independence, but also in self-knowledge and purpose. Adaptation is not a destination, but an ongoing journey. Each day brings new opportunities to learn, to grow, and to discover strengths we didn't know we had. Living alone teaches us that challenges are not obstacles, but doors to a more resilient, connected, and authentic life. Because in the end, adaptation is not just about surviving. How about you? How have you grown through the changes? What challenges have made you stronger? Because in the end, adaptation is not just about surviving, but about learning to dance in the rain, finding beauty and strength in every step of the way. 2. The art of living alone, a spiritual journey towards self-discovery. Have you ever felt like an explorer in front of a vast ocean of silence? Beginning to live alone can be like entering a large, quiet room for the first time. Silence, in its vastness, can seem overwhelming, even frightening. We wonder how to make this empty space feel like home, how to be well when the only company is our own thoughts. But this step, though challenging, is the beginning of an extraordinary journey. A journey that does not seek to escape silence, but to embrace it, because silence is not an emptiness, but a blank canvas full of possibilities. What do we discover when we sit with ourselves? This journey is not just about living alone. It is about learning to live with oneself. Buddha, the great master of introspection, spoke of balance in life. Not too much and not too little. Living alone teaches us this balance. It is not about filling every moment with noise to escape silence, but about finding a gentle peace in our solitude. Imagine silence as a garden. At first it may seem barren, but with care and attention it flourishes. Every thought is a seed, every moment of mindfulness, a watering, and in that garden we become our own best friends. What does it mean to be self-sufficient in a world that pushes us to depend on everything and everyone? Living alone teaches us to take small steps, To build a routine that structures our days like a lighthouse that guides a ship in the night. It is not about filling time, but about giving it meaning. And in that process, we learn to take care of ourselves not only basically, but also spiritually and emotionally. Self-compassion becomes our mantra. Being kind to ourselves as we would be to a dear friend is the key. Meditation invites us to look inward. What happens when we look at our thoughts without judgment? Meditation invites us to look inward, to witness our thoughts and emotions as if they were leaves floating in a river. We don't catch them. We don't reject them. We simply observe them. This journey is not just about facing fears, but about growing. Thanks to them, Buddha found enlightenment in solitude, showing us that solitude is not an enemy, but a teacher. Like a tree that takes root in the earth. Loneliness. What strength is born when we find peace within ourselves? Like a tree that takes root in the earth. Solitude roots us in our essence. We discover an inner strength that does not depend on anyone else. A strength that is born from authenticity, from the ability to be happy in our own. Living alone is not a challenge to overcome, but a journey to enjoy. It is an opportunity to build a solid foundation of self-awareness, self-care, and self-love. A foundation that enriches every aspect of our lives. Taking on the challenge of living alone is the beginning of a profound journey of self-discovery. It teaches us to find calm in solitude, strength in silence, and happiness in our own company. Inspired by the wisdom of Buddha, this journey shows us that the challenges of living alone are not obstacles, but opportunities to grow, learn, and find deeper happiness. Are you ready to embrace silence and discover the art of living alone? 3. Facing loneliness, a spiritual journey to inner connection. What happens when we come face to face with loneliness? Living alone sometimes means facing that familiar, but often uncomfortable feeling of being alone. Loneliness, like an old acquaintance, visits us at unexpected times. But what if I told you that within loneliness is a hidden opportunity, a chance to learn about ourselves, about how we connect with others, and ultimately, about finding peace in our own company? Instead of running away from loneliness, we can understand and accept it as a natural part of life. In fact, solitude can bring us closer not only to others, but also to our inner self. What does solitude teach us about impermanence? We all experience loneliness at one time or another. Knowing this can be comforting, like a silent embrace that reminds us that we are not alone in how we feel. Loneliness is a shared feeling, a reminder that we all, at some level, seek friendship, love, and connection. Loneliness, like the clouds that pass overhead, does not last forever. This idea encourages us to be patient and kind to ourselves when we feel lonely, knowing that these feelings, like all others, will pass. What do we discover when we sit with our loneliness instead of running from it? Meditation invites us to observe our loneliness without judgment. Instead of pushing it away, we observe it, learn from it, and find peace in its presence. This practice can transform loneliness from a painful experience into a valuable guide that helps us better understand ourselves and why we long to connect with others. A special form of meditation called mindfulness or loving-kindness meditation begins with being kind to ourselves, especially when we feel lonely. We then extend this kindness to others, remembering that we are all interconnected, even in our moments of loneliness. How community sustains us in our moments of loneliness. Finding a community or Sangha, named after the Buddha call, is crucial in our journey. This community can include online friends who provide support and a sense of belonging. Knowing that we are part of a group can lighten the burden of loneliness and remind us that we are not alone. Engaging in creative activities such as writing, drawing, or making music can also help us cope with loneliness. Expressing our feelings through art connects us with others who may be experiencing similar emotions, creating an invisible bridge between lonely souls. What peace do we find in quiet moments? In moments of stillness, we can learn to appreciate, to be alone. There is a unique sense of peace in these moments, a peace that is hard to find amidst the hustle and bustle of life. This peace can become a source of strength and comfort, a beacon that guides us through emotional storms. Building and deepening friendships can also alleviate loneliness. It's not about the quantity of friends, but the quality of our connections. A few close friends can make a significant difference in how we feel. The Buddha's journey teaches us that facing and understanding loneliness can lead to profound discoveries about ourselves and our place in the world. His teachings encourage us to see loneliness not as an enemy, but as part of our journey to peace and happiness. Facing loneliness is a personal journey that teaches us about the changing nature of our feelings, the importance of friendships and community, and how to be kind to ourselves. By embracing our loneliness, we open ourselves to deeper connections with others and ourselves. Are you ready to transform loneliness into an opportunity for growth and connection? 4. The art of self-reliance, a spiritual journey to inner freedom. Have you ever wondered what it means to be truly self-sufficient? Learning to live on our own is like embarking on a great adventure. It's not just about cooking, cleaning, or paying bills. It is a profound journey to self-discovery, inner strength, and independence. This path teaches us to take care of ourselves as we discover how to make our lives fulfilling, joyful, and meaningful. But self-reliance is not an act of isolation. It is a delicate balance between taking care of ourselves and staying connected to the world around us. As the Buddha taught, true independence is not doing everything on our own, but finding the middle path, a balance between autonomy and community. What do we learn when we begin to live alone? Al, in the beginning we live the basics of cooking, cleaning, managing our finances. These tasks, though simple, are powerful lessons in responsibility and self-care. Every meal we prepare, every bill we pay, is a step toward self-sufficiency. Cooking, for example, is not just satisfying hunger. It is an act of self-love. Every ingredient we choose, every dish we prepare is an opportunity to be present, to nourish ourselves, and to find happiness in the simple things. It's a reminder that life is built on the details. And then there's the art of managing our money. It's not just about paying bills, but about making choices that benefit ourselves and others. Buddha taught that earning and living in a kind and just way is essential to a fulfilling life. Financial self-sufficiency is not about accumulating wealth, but using our resources wisely and compassionately. How do we find balance in our daily lives? Tay, having a routine doesn't mean scheduling every minute rigidly. It's about creating a flexible plan that helps us balance work, rest, and fun. This balance keeps us healthy and happy. As we become more independent, we can explore new hobbies or learn new skills. It's not about keeping busy, it's about growing, discovering ourselves, and building confidence. Self-reliance is, in essence, an act of self-discovery. Is self-reliance synonymous with doing everything alone, right? True independence also means knowing when to ask for help. It is okay to reach out to others for advice, support, companionship. As Buddha taught, the middle path is not extreme self-sufficiency, but the balance between doing things for ourselves and being part of a community. Taking care of ourselves goes beyond physical health. It includes mental and emotional well-being, as well as considering our impact on the world. Living alone prompts us to be mindful of our choices and their effects on the environment. It teaches us to foster gratitude for simple things and to practice kindness and generosity toward others. Ultimately, learning to be self-reliant is about creating a happy and fulfilling life. where we feel strong, free, and connected to the world. It is a journey that reminds us that true independence is not about doing everything on our own, but finding a balance between autonomy and community. Inspired by the teachings of the Buddha, this journey shows us that self-reliance leads to genuine happiness and peace. Are you ready to embark on this journey towards self-reliance and inner freedom? 5. Discovering inner peace, a spiritual journey to serenity. What does it mean to find inner peace in a world that never stops moving? Discovering inner peace while living alone is like embarking on a serene journey into the depths of our being. It is to transform quiet moments into a personal sanctuary, a refuge where we can feel calm and content regardless of external circumstances. This journey is not about changing what surrounds us, but about changing how we respond to it. Living alone gives us a unique opportunity to practice this by learning to appreciate stillness, to be comfortable with our own company, and to use this time for personal growth and serenity. How do we begin to cultivate inner peace? The first step is to understand that peace does not depend on what happens around us, but on how we choose to respond. Meditation plays a crucial role in this process. It is like taking a quiet break to simply breathe and be present. It is not about solving all the problems, but about observing our thoughts like clouds passing through the sky. This practice helps us find stability and calm, even in the midst of life's constant changes. Mindfulness, or being fully present in what we do, is another powerful way to cultivate peace. Whether it's eating, walking, or cleaning, focusing on the present moment allows us to find joy in the little things and experience a sense of serenity that lasts throughout the day. How does our environment influence our inner peace? Creating a peaceful atmosphere at home is essential when our space is tidy and harmonious. It is easier to feel that same harmony within ourselves. This may involve keeping things organized, adding plants that purify the air and the spirit, or designing a special corner for relaxation and reflection. But inner peace is not only about the external. Learning to accept our own choices without worrying about the opinions of others is fundamental. Living alone allows us to listen to our true desires and make decisions that are aligned with our authentic self. How do we cope with change and find peace in nature? Life is full of ups and downs, and accepting that change is a natural part of existence is crucial to maintaining inner calm. Like the seasons that follow one another, everything in life is transitory. Understanding this allows us to flow with life instead of resisting it. Spending time in nature is a powerful way to reconnect with that peace. A walk in the park, sitting by the water, or gazing at the sky reminds us of the tranquility and beauty of the world. These moments help us foster a sense of connection and calm that nourishes our spirit. Ultimately, finding inner peace is a journey that never ends. It is about continually striving to be at peace, to learn and grow each day. Every moment is an opportunity to deepen our understanding of ourselves and cultivate inner tranquility. Discovering inner peace while living alone is not only an act of self-understanding, but also of self-compassion. It is an adventure guided by the Buddha's peaceful teachings that remind us that true peace resides within us, ready to be accessed and nurtured every day. Are you ready to embark on this journey to inner serenity? 6. Solitude as a bridge to authentic connection. Imagine for a moment the silence, that empty space that seems to stretch infinitely when we are alone. But is it really empty? Or is it perhaps a blank canvas where we can paint the deepest and most meaningful connections of our existence? Living in solitude is not synonymous with isolation. In fact, it can be an invitation to reconnect with ourselves from that intimate place, tender bridges to others. when we are alone, the outside world fades away for a moment, and it is then that we remember the importance of those around us. Friendships, those invisible roots that sustain us, do not flourish by chance. They require care, attention, and above all, presence. How many times have we felt time fade away amid the noise of routine, leaving aside those conversations that nourish the soul? Solitude brings us back to the essence. It reminds us that a message, a call, or a meeting can be the hug someone needs. But it's not just about holding on to what already exists. Life in solitude also opens the door to the new, a book club, a walking group, a house that moves our hearts. Each of these spaces is a universe to be discovered, full of faces that, although unknown, can resonate with our essence. Technology, that tool that sometimes disconnects us, can also be a bridge, a video call that crosses continents, a message that arrives at just the right moment. And then there is the art of listening, not with the ears, but with the soul. Because a true friendship is not measured by the number of words, but by the depth of the connection. Listening is an act of love, a reminder that in this vast universe, we are seen and heard. And what have you discovered in your solitude? What dreams have you embraced in that silence? Because in the end, freedom is not something found outside, but something cultivated within. 8. Happiness in simplicity. The art of contentment in solitude. Living alone gives us a unique space, that of simplicity. It is that first sip of coffee in the morning, that ray of. In this space, happiness is not a distant destination, but a constant present. It is that first sip of coffee in the morning, that ray of sunshine that sneaks through the window, that melody that makes us close our eyes and smile. It's the little details, the ones we often overlook, that remind us that life is full of beauty, even in its simplest form. Gratitude becomes our companion. It does not become our companion. It is not a forced exercise, but a natural recognition of the blessings that already inhabit our lives. A roof over our heads, a book, an unexpected call from a loved one. Each of these moments is a reminder that abundance is not measured in quantities, but in the ability to appreciate what we already have. And then there is the present. Living in solitude teaches us to stop. It's not about constantly chasing future goals, that eternal instant that we often forget to live. Living in solitude teaches us to stop, to breathe, to feel. It is not about constantly pursuing future goals, but about finding fulfillment in the here and now. It is something I know, because true happiness is not something you reach. It is something you live. Letting simplify our life is another act of love towards ourselves. Order not only our spaces, but also our thoughts. Let go of what does not serve us, what weighs us down, what distracts us from what is essential, but from an inner choice, that of focusing on this process. We find a peace that does not depend on external circumstances, but on an inner choice to focus on what really matters. Enjoying our own company is. Perhaps it is not about filling the void with distractions. It is perhaps one of the greatest gifts of solitude. It's not about filling the emptiness with distractions. It's about embracing the silence, about listening to our thoughts, reconnecting with our essence. 8. Continued happiness in the simple. The art of contentment in solitude. And even though we live alone, we are not disconnected. We discover that happiness needs no audience. It is an intimate dialogue with ourselves. And though we may live alone, we are not disconnected. The relationships we cultivate, whether with friends, family, or even ourselves, are a reflection of our capacity to love and be loved. Compassion for ourselves allows us to sustain, especially in difficult times. It is an act of courage. It allows us to maintain inner peace, even when the outside world seems chaotic. A road that is traveled with contentment is not a destination, but a path, a path that is traveled with gratitude, with presence, and with the certainty that happiness is not in what we lack, but in what we already are. It is cultivated. Living in solitude teaches us that true joy is not sought, it is cultivated. And in this cultivation, we find a deeper, more authentic, and, above all, happier life. Where do you find yourself? What small moments remind you that life is already you? Where do you find your happiness? In what is simple? What small moments remind you that life is already enough? Because, in the end, satisfaction is not something, but some. It is not something to be achieved, but something to be discovered in the silence of our own heart. 9. The silence that illuminates. Spiritual exploration in solitude. Solitude, far from being isolation, is a portal to introspection. It is in this silence where essential questions emerge, where our beliefs are revealed, and where we begin to feel in tune with the universe. This is not a journey of quick answers, but of slow and deep discoveries, where each moment of stillness is an opportunity to grow. Meditation becomes our guide, not as a technique, but as an intimate dialogue with our inner self. By closing our eyes and breathing, we clear the mental noise and allow the inner wisdom to flow. It is here that we find peace, where insights come effortlessly, and where we realize that we are part of a greater whole. Creating a sacred space in our home is another act of connection. A corner dedicated to contemplation where the energy feels different. 10. The journey to independence by discovering our inner power. A journey where every step is not just about living alone. It is like embarking on a journey into the unknown. A journey where each step reveals a new facet of ourselves. It is not just about having a space of our own, but about discovering that we are capable of navigating life with our own hands, with our own decisions. It is here, in this process, that we find the true essence of independence, self-confidence. These are acts that every task, no matter how small it may seem, becomes a lesson. Cooking, cleaning, fixing something that has broken. They are acts that, beyond their practical usefulness, remind us that we can take care of ourselves. It is not about perfection, but about the satisfaction of knowing that we are self-sufficient, that we can face daily challenges without depending on others. And then there are the decisions, those small and big choices that shape our lives, from what to eat today to what direction to take in our future. Each decision is an act of empowerment. With each choice, our confidence grows, and with it, our autonomy. We realize that we do not need anyone else's approval to follow our path. Setting goals becomes a source of inspiration. They are not just goals to be achieved, but beacons that illuminate our journey. Pursuing our passions, whether it's a personal project, a hobby, a long-cherished dream, fills us with a sense of accomplishment that depends on no one but ourselves. But independence is not only action, it is also reflection. In solitude, we find a space to look inward, to understand what moves us, what makes us happy. We realize that being alone is not synonymous with loneliness, but an opportunity to reconnect with our essence, to relax and simply be. And although we walk alone, we are not isolated. Connections with friends and family remain important, not as dependencies, but as support networks that enrich our lives. These relationships based on equality and respect remind us that independence does not mean giving up on others, but knowing that we can be alone without feeling lonely. Independence is not a destination, but a continuous journey. Thank you for watching and listening to this video. We hope you liked it and that you take away something valuable. Remember to like and subscribe to our channel. Turn on the notification bell so YouTube will notify you when we upload a new video where we can sit and reflect, pray, or just be. This personal sanctuary is a reminder that the divine is not far away, but within and around us.